welcome to the Flatspotted podcast, where we look back at the Miami GP, where Lando Norris finally got his first race victory. And what a performance it was. Taking victory by 7.5 seconds over Max Verstappen, the Red Bull driver has been triumphed for the second time this year. A couple of points to take from this: Mclaren came into the race with 10 upgrades, I'm led to believe. And it does beg the question, are these upgrades going to be a turnaround for them? Like, I'm talking overall in terms of the championship. Can they move forward from here and consistently challenge Red Bull for race victories now? McLaren have one of the best lineups, I think, on the grid with Norris and Piastri, so I'm intrigued to see how that one plays out, because Piastri, the race result didn't reflect his performance in the race. It was a race of two halves for him, basically. He had a fantastic first half of the race, and then after the safety car, it all just kind of went south. That was, of course, after he broke his front wing with the contact with Carlos Sainz. They had a great battle that unfortunately ended any chance of a good result. But yeah, he was my driver of the day up to that point. Max Verstappen wasn't happy with the car all weekend. He'd aced the weekend up to that point, but he was never 100% happy with the car. And McLaren, particularly Norris, kind of looked, they were there and thereabouts, the performance in qualifying. But qualifying, it was weird qualifying. It was kind of up and down, because he was on the pace, looking like he could challenge for pole, and then all of a sudden he just kind of fell off on the soft tyre. So it was kind of a strange qualifying in that sense. But McLaren always had something about them this weekend that said they might be one to watch in the race. Imola, I'm expecting a lot of upgrades to come from a lot of teams. The start of the European season kind of coincides with that a lot of the time. So it'll be interesting to see if McLaren can continue that upward trend. Norris has the race win off his back now at this stage. He has his first race win in the bag. That's one milestone he can forget about now. He can cross off because he's achieved it now. So how will that affect his confidence? How will that affect the team's confidence? That's going to be an interesting theme to watch going forward too. I think McLaren were the fastest team overall this weekend. When you kind of crunch down into the numbers, it's a deserved victory. They didn't inherit it. I know the safety car helped them, but they always looked like they had something about them to win this weekend. Ferrari, again, there or thereabouts. Didn't have the pace to challenge Red Bull, and really Leclerc didn't have the pace to get past Piastri when Piastri overtook him. So I'm intrigued to see what they'll bring to Imola, if they bring any big upgrades. But yeah, third for Leclerc and fifth for Sainz after his penalty. Mercedes. What do you say about Mercedes again? No pace all weekend, really stuck in the midfield for a lot of the weekend. Great race by Hamilton to finish where he did. He finished P6, which probably flattered the car, to be honest. Time will tell if their upcoming upgrades will do anything to alleviate their pace problem, because it's just not good enough by the standard they set for themselves. It was a strange race for Orbi, a strange weekend for Orbi, really. Tsunoda had a good race, finished P7, more points in the bag. Ricciardo had a great sprint race, but when it came to qualifying and race for the actual Grand Prix, he was nowhere. And that's kind of a recurring theme for the weekend. The drop-off, the inconsistency in pace all round was very interesting. Yeah, more points in the bag for Tsunoda, and Ricciardo finished down in 15th. After the sprint weekend format was finished, the weekend was over for him basically. He just had no pace at all. 9th for Fernando Alonso. Not a great weekend for Aston Martin, but got points in the bag. A point for Alpine! Esteban Ocon brings home 1 point for Alpine after a disastrous start to the season. That car is slowly climbing up the leaderboard. It's in and around the bottom half of the midfield now. It's fighting for the final few points is probably where it is now, which is an improvement obviously in the start of the season when they were basically the back markers. Haas just miss out on points with Hülkenberg. Magnussen had an interesting weekend, Mr. Penalties. His driving conduct brought into question after the sprint race, and he got into more drama with the accident with Logan Sargent in the race as well. So yeah, in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Another tough weekend for Sauber, no points again. They still have no points on the board. Tough weekend for Bottas. The team changed his race engineer very suddenly before the race weekend, apparently without his approval or his input into the whole thing. So I kind of feel I'd like to be a fly in the wall in that team, because I don't think it's too harmonious. We know Hülkenberg's joining them next year, so there's at least one driver definitely not coming back to the team next year, and there's a lot of rumours that both drivers are out for next year. So I feel that's kind of a tough environment to work in at the minute, but no points on the board. Tough to be in Sauber at the minute. Williams, another tough weekend for them. They weren't on the pace at all. Sargent out of the race again. A lot of rumours, and I don't know how true they are. I don't know if they're just rumours, but some suggesting this could be Sargent's last race. I know there's been a query put into the FIA about granting Kimi Antonelli a super license because he's under 18. He can't automatically get one. He has enough points, I believe, to be entitled to one, but you have to be over 18. I mean, if it isn't his last race, I feel his days are numbered anyway. So yeah, it's a shame he couldn't get the race finish at his home Grand Prix, but an accident with Kevin Magnussen put him into the wall. Next up is one of my favourite races. It's Imola, a good old style racetrack, and I'll be very intrigued to see how things go. It'll be very intrigued to see the upgrades coming to that track, and I'm really looking forward to see how it pans out. Can McLaren continue this run of form, or will it be the old story again with Red Bull coming back and dominating the weekend? We shall see. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube channel, and yeah, I'll see you next time.